Testing, testing, testing. Nothing? Can you hear me? Okay, I'll turn the volume down. Sorry about that. You can hear me though? Okay, sorry guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties here. Let's kick it off. All right. A bit of a non-event session last night in the States. You can see there NASDAQ, S&P, across the board, small losses on the day. Really a good result, I suppose, for the bulls in comparison to what we saw at the beginning. I mean, we at one point around the time where we opened, or in pre-market, maybe a half an hour before we opened, we were down 20 points in the S&P pre-market, which is one of the bigger pricings away from the market we've seen in pre-market in quite a long time. So that's just it's a real surprise to me that the markets were able to kind of rally, but rallied up to flatline early in the session. You can see there in the NASDAQ, we traded all the way up at 11 o'clock to flatline and just kind of moved out to the right from there. So it was really strange. You don't see that kind of action really often when you have such a big move away from fair value at the open. All of a sudden, you make a big reversal up toward flatline on the day, and you just don't do anything from there. So it's a strange day of action. I think we'll have to see what's going to happen today to see if we can continue to kind of hang on to things after what really looked like quite spooked markets yesterday early in the session. We got a lot going on right now with things going on in Hong Kong and the protests and the violence that's going on there. That's actually a really big, it's quite a big issue. There's kind of some long-term structural issues and big promises that by the Chinese government that were made a long time ago that wouldn't kind of do what they're doing now. And people are really upset about it, and that could actually become more and more of a problem and could continue to continue to get more intense there over the next few days. So that can obviously impact things globally. We also had Apple out yesterday that got approval from the Chinese government to sell their phones. So I think that happened actually after hours, but that's going to impact markets today a little bit. And then Ford also got hammered on a really disappointing trading update yesterday. All right, moving on to Asian action, you can see that the Hang Seng, obviously the outlier there, under real pressure because of the riots going on there. Everything else was kind of muted. We did have Aussie, which managed to show some small gains today. We continued to see mining sector soft there, but a little bit of a dead cat bounce out of Australia nonetheless. Nikkei maybe coming off the boil just a little bit as we've seen a little bit of yen strength, but not a whole lot to kind of go on. Shanghai Composite closed slightly higher after HSBC's China final manufacturing report for September, printing 50.2, which is unchanged from August. I think anything showing that China's not totally imploding is probably a positive at this point. All right, cool chart here from Charlie Bilello. Comes up with some of the best ones. This is a chart of some of Barclays TIPS funds, Treasury and inflation protected securities. The pricing on these has just absolutely been decimated here, and this is just showing us the lowered expectations of inflation going forward. So this is something that we'll continue to watch, but this is having a huge impact on our market. It's had a huge impact, I think, on our mining stocks. It's had a big impact on the different asset classes and the way that money started to rotate between markets. So this is going to be one of the bigger things that we're going to probably watch as we move forward, and we'll keep you posted as we see changes happening there. No corporate action to report today. We had a hell of a lot of data out already today. We had jobless rate out of Japan, a bit soft. We had retail trade, which is a bit better, industrial production, which is a bit soft. Then we had the China manufacturing PMI, which came in line with the prior month. That was supposed to be a 50.2, but a touch weaker than what the survey expectations were. We had nationwide house prices out of the UK, which were a bit soft, local money supply numbers, which are soft, retail sales out of Germany, which are soft. So you're kind of seeing a theme here. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 5 different countries throw out numbers this morning. All of them soft across the board pretty much. So that's, I think, starting to show us what the real picture is around the globe at the moment. Everybody's starting to really struggle outside of the U.S. at the moment. So we'll have to see if that starts to filter through in the U.S. market sooner rather than later. All right, and then we've got a lot more data out on the day. We've got French consumer spending. We've got an unemployment rate out of Germany. We've got GDP out of the UK. We've got unemployment rate for the entire Eurozone. CPI estimates for the entire Eurozone. CPI harmonized out of Italy. Trade balance locally at 2 o'clock, and consumer confidence in the States later this afternoon. Right, let's get into the maps. Okay, first thing we'll have a look at here is the Aussie spot market. We'll look at this here. I want to show 2 ways. So we'll look at this little wedge that we'd put in, and we made that false breakout to the upside. We did show this chart a while ago. False breakout to the upside, only to make a reversal and actually close below it the very next day, which is incredible, and just kind of puke from there. I think the target here we're going to be looking for, maybe the height of this channel, I think this 2,000 points in the breakdown from this level, from, call it 45,750. So that puts us down to 43,750 or thereabouts, which is down around in this sort of level. It could take us in closer to the 200-day moving average if that happens. We're not that far away from that, to be honest. If we look at this on a shorter term chart, you can see here on the 5 minute, we've pushed down into this level. We'll look at this. We on Friday, we really dropped out hard there, and you can see here we've come down to test the same level several times over the past few sessions. That level is at 44,060. I call it 44,460. Okay, if that level drops 44,460, then I think we can very, very quickly see probably a 500-point drop out of the Aussie from there. So watch that level closely. I think we come down and we test 44,000 on the nose if this level drops in the Aussie. So watch that one today. All right, let's go out to the year thing here. I'll have another look at Naspers, which has come down again to yesterday close at the right around 1250 level, which you can see that, I mean, this is a massive level. This is where we gapped up to. We came back down and tested when we had this whole little island that we created back here in February. We made this little island reversal to really make a hard correction there. Then we've got same sort of thing. We gapped up from this level again, and now we've pulled back into this level to really test it. So 1250 has become a major level in Naspers. In fact, it's probably the most major level that we've got on the maps at the moment. And so we're going to have to see how this level holds. I just wanted to point it out again because it is such an important level. We're seeing 10 cents soft on the back of the Hang Seng general weakness because of the riots, I'm sure. But bottom line is this thing's continuing to put pressure down to the 1250, and this level drops. I think we have got a very quick move. Probably at least 50 plus points to the downside. Right, Cecil also yesterday we popped right back up to test this the resistance level on the head and shoulder pattern. You can see there we came up. We actually got a touch above it. We traded up to about 616.50, 617 intraday, only to reverse off of that. We traded back to as low as 610, offered at a point. I think we closed about 12 and a half, if I'm not mistaken. I think we're going to watch this level very, very closely. There's a big divvy coming, about 13 Rand divvy coming next week. So this one's going to be one to watch over the next few sessions to see if it can get back above that level, or if we just end up failing off of it and completing the target on the head and shoulder. All right, next one I want to look at is Amplats, which has been, you can see there, just looking at the year chart, on a total freaking nosedive. Once it dropped this 450 level, up here you can see, I mean, we've just totally imploded from there. We're coming into what I would say is quite major support right now at 360, and it's fallen there in such a straight line. All of these mining stocks have just been wiped out, decimated, just cleaned totally out. There's been no bounce in them whatsoever, not even dead cat bounces in these things. So, normally I would say if these things, if a stock moves this far and this steep into a support level, that you probably due for a real bounce off of it. It may still be the case, but we just haven't seen it over the last, out of the mining stocks over the last couple months. So just be careful there. If 360 does hold, that we could see a little bit of a bounce in Amplats. All right, the next one I want to look at is first round. We're going to go a little bit shorter term here. We're going to look at a 30-minute chart, and we're going to look at a bit of a inverse head and shoulder potentially setting up here out of first round. It would be above 43.35, or sorry, 43.50, yeah, so if we make we're kind of predicting a potential pattern here, but if we were to trade up to 43.50 today or the next day and got above 43.50 here, it would be a beautiful little inverse head and shoulder setup with a target all the way up to 45, maybe 45.15 or something around that area. So watch that closely at that level today. And the next one, the last one I'm going to show is Discovery. Discovery, give me a line. Discovery coming down to test 97 quite hard, 1, 2, 3, 4 trading days in a row. We've touched it every one of those days. The bounces have gotten smaller, so we've got a bit of a little descending triangle going on here. And if we drop 97, I think we've got a very quick 2 rand move to take us down to 95 to test in Discovery. And that's it for today, guys. Good luck out there.